Hey everyone, welcome to live coaching. It's Sunday, March 19th. I'm in Japan. I've been competing in the World Cup here. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. So, this is going to be a quick stream. I'm going to go through the Facebook group and address everything that is there and has been posted and answer whatever questions you guys have. But then I'm going to get to bed. I'm tired. It's like 10 o'clock. I've been busy with the competition and other things, and I'm pretty exhausted. I came with the family, and I don't normally travel with the family to World Cups, but we decided to all come to this one. It's an opportunity to see Japan and travel and do something new. So that's what we did. And it's been going well, but I am tired. I was up late last night planning our accommodation for the part of the trip after the competition next week. And yeah, so I'm tired. But I'm happy to be here, happy to see you guys. Hey, Dom, Axel, Dennis, Herman. Thanks for saying hi in the chat. Have you guys been getting on the water? How have you been? Good to be back here. I'm going to load up a Facebook user. I'm going to load up the Facebook group so that we can just jump right into it. You guys know the drill. You can interrupt me, ask whatever questions you need to ask, and please excuse any little mistakes I make because I am exhausted. The competition, the World Cup, has been not great in terms of conditions, but awesome in terms of hospitality. And it's good to be back in Asia for the Wave Tour. The Wave Tour over the last few years has primarily been in Europe with some events in America and Africa. And it's nice to have an event in Asia. So it's great to be here. The people are wonderful. The Japanese windsurfing community is awesome. Axel's leaving for Morocco. That's awesome. Sounds good. All right. So first up, we have a question from Ragnar. Conditions in Omaezaki are not perfect, but still the pros make it look good. So what are the tactics for that? I'd say without even watching this highlight video, which we can pull up now, the number one tactic for making bad conditions look good is being patient. Just really, really patient and choosing the right waves. There are not many waves that are good. And so by choosing the waves that are better, you can do more and do better. There's me just on a little one. That's a better one, better wave. That's like a good example of Takuma. It's on a better wave, and then it's easier to make a better wave look good. This video looks like it's playing fast. Playback speed is normal. Weird, it looks so fast. I must be really tired. But it looks sped up to me. Maybe they did a weird render. Or maybe the camera's just shaky. I don't know. Anyway, one of the tricks is being really selective with waves and just really making sure that you're on better waves, because then you can do better things. And then making sure that on those waves that you're on the right place. So you can see, like in these examples, this wave, there's really one place to be. So there's not a lot of room for error. The wave is breaking here. There's one power source. It's not like a nice wall where you can end up going here or somewhere else. There's one place to go. There's one place to be. And so being really aware of that is important. I was on a 5.5 Zeta. That's like a 5 batten powerful sail. And I was on an 88 liter board. So pretty big sail, and like my main board felt good. I had the power I needed. The wind was light. The wind was pretty light. People were on 5.5s, 5.7s, 5.3s. Was definitely not easy. The small guys had a bit of an advantage, but the big guys were used to riding big gear as well. So it really comes down to fundamentals in these conditions, is what I'm trying to say. It's choosing the right waves and then being in the right place on those waves. And that's true for jumping as well as riding. Like if we look at some of these jumps, again, it's not a wall, it's a little peak. And so there's one place to jump off of it, right? I mean, here there's a little bit more, but there's just not much room for error. And so it comes down to a test, right? Like here, I've got this little peak and I've been looking for a ramp going out. I wouldn't be able to jump here. I wouldn't be able to jump over here. This little area to jump to do this push loop. And I have to take advantage of that. So here again, similar situation where Mark is doing this turn. And there's really just one peak to this wave. There's just one area where he can do his turn. So it comes down to a test of the fundamentals. All right. Also having good gear as well, which is a fundamental aspect as well. So having a board that can get planing easily and catch waves, but still turn, and then a sail that also is powerful. The score difference between Mark and I was pretty close, not as close as I would like it to be. Push loops don't score very well in competitions, and yeah, I don't know why I didn't go for a one-handed back loop or a one-foot back loop or something on that ramp, but I didn't anyway. And then I would have done well to do like a trick or something to get an extra point or so. Mark had a good talk on. Yeah. Anyway, it's difficult in those conditions. If you just have 14 minutes. All right, next up, we got a post from Mateo. He wants to go more vertical. Mateo, welcome to the group. This is awesome. You are ripping. This is a beautiful shot. Are you going 50 kilometers an hour? That's pretty fast. Coming up. Beautiful turn. So beautiful. I don't know if you need to go more vertical, but if you want to go more vertical, the two main things I would say you need to do are, one is you could go earlier, because here, if you want to go earlier or more vertical, you've got just whitewater to go into. So the time that you've chosen to drop into the wave also determines how vertical you're going to go. So if you want to go more vertical in a situation like this, you have to go earlier or travel out farther in front of the wave, which I'm not sure is the right thing to do. And if you travel out in front of the wave before doing your bottom turn, you can come up more vertical. But I actually like your approach better than something like that. So if you want to go more vertical, you want to go earlier. And the second thing that you can do is really looking more vertical. So at the moment, it's hard to tell with the helmet, but it looks like you're looking here. You want to be looking up there and then pull that sail across the body to help get that extra few degrees. Yeah, it looks like you're looking here where you want to be looking kind of up there. But again, it has to do with the timing, another fundamental thing. But this is awesome. How do I type in here? Awesome riding. If you want to go more vertical, you have to start your bottom turn earlier to have space to go vertical. Okay. All right. Next up, post from Adrian. I think the wave ride starts a little later. Yeah, okay. Here we are, getting on the wave. All right, getting leaned over. I like this. Leaning over in the bottom turn. Okay, getting the sail across the body. Slashy cut back. A little bit early, but slashy. So let's go back up to Adrian's question. Trying to work on moving my hands on the boom. I note that I don't bring my backhand back, but I'm pulling it in, which seems enough. I don't know if that's a bad thing. Any comments appreciated. First wave was a surprise. Oh, this is not the same wave. Okay. I went out and noticed a decent swell, so jibed right away. It was maybe head high. Second wave was small. The second wave, the wind was very light, and after the cutback, I was basically without wind. This is my 4th session on the board. Trying to stay close to the wave. All right, let's watch the second wave. I think this is the first wave again in slow motion. Looks nice. There's good carve, good energy. Okay, this must be the second wave. So going slower, starting off more upwind. So Adrian, the main thing I would say here is to try to do less with the sail. Looks like you're trying to do a lot with the sail. And if you really you just use your body and the board on the cutback. So really think about hanging more on the cutback instead of pushing the sail forward. Does that make sense? Konnichiwa, Ragnar. All right, let's watch the first one. Looks really nice. The second one, you can get more speed by pumping more into the turn and heading a little bit more down the line before you start carving, and then going more vertical. I think that will really help this turn a lot, is trying to get more speed and then also going more vertical, because here you do this kind of shallow bottom turn and then throw it into the cutback using a lot of the sail power and sort of twisting the lower body. You often don't want to twist the lower body. You want to keep the lower body, like, from your waist down in the cutback pretty lined up, sort of perpendicular to the center line of the board, so that you can use that lower body as a lever to get the board on the rail. You really want to think about using the board toes to heel rather than pivoting it this way. So Adrian, is that helpful, what I'm saying? I notice it a lot more on the second one, where you don't have as much speed than on the first one. The first one looks, might be doing the same thing, but you're going faster, so it's less of an issue. Let's just, all right, let's watch this next cutback. You're starting the bottom turn, heading more down the line. You've got more speed. All good things. All right, coming in, tons of speed. You could go more vertical too. I want to see you work on going more vertical. Very active, which is good. And here, look at the alignment of your lower body. It's perpendicular to the center line of the board, just like we're talking about. But in the second cutback, where it's lighter wind and you feel like you have to force it, you start twisting your lower body. And the feeling, where's that twist? Here, you can kind of see it. We had a good frame of it before. The feeling, I think, is that you have to like kind of force it around. Anyway, you want to keep this lower body really perpendicular to the center line so you can get that thing on the rail and hang down from the boom. But try to go more vertical. Try and do more of a U-shaped bottom turn. I think that'll be helpful, and speed going into it. I like the first one. So the work to do on the first one is to try to go more vertical, do more of a U. And for the second one is more speed. Just try and get more speed into it. And the third thing to think about is really toe to heel on those cutbacks. All right, Linus, summer holiday in Europe, somewhere in Southern Europe. People are recommending Greece and Italy, Spain. Sounds good. All right, Bruno posted some waves. There's a lot of videos here. Let's try and go through them. Just Bruno, do you have a specific question? Some tips for the cutback. So I've already watched these. Bruno, I think you're riding very well. I think you're doing really well. Great progress. Similar feedback to what we just said with Adrian. I think you could just try to go more vertical, do more of a U-shaped bottom turn. I think that will help with your cutbacks. Doing a good bottom turn is the best way to set up for a good cutback, and going more vertical will do that because it just puts your board in the right position, your body in the right position, sets you up with speed. So trying to do more of a U-shaped bottom turn. And the first step to doing that is just wanting to. It's just looking more vertical. Here you had the issue with the cutback because you're just too early, right? This comes back to fundamentals, and the wave has to push you back to do a good cutback. You can't do a good cutback on flat water. You need that power of the wave to push against you. And here that power source was just not there. All right, let's keep going through these. Again, you want the wave to do the work for you. The other thing I'd mention, Bruno, is it looks like your board's maybe a little bit big for your weight, which is difficult for you to really get on the rail and move around. But the U-shaped bottom turns will help a lot with the cutback, and then focusing on the fundamentals. Make sure you're going somewhere where there's power going against you. So like this cutback, good example. There's no power on the wave there, so it's hard to do a good cutback. You have to kind of force it, and you're not able to flow with the wave. So a good cutback is only going to happen when you have a good section in the wave. All right, this awesome charging. Love to see it. Love to see it. Focus on the high five. Make these. So it's all about the high five. Getting that bottom of the board so the lip hits the bottom, not the rail. And then it will project you forward. So here, almost getting that high five. It starts projecting you and then you bail. All right, next. All right. Let's see here. Coming up. So making sure that you're going to do the cutback somewhere where there's good power in the wave. Pumping up. I like that. Pumping, you get speed. Speed in the bottom turn is important. Going for the aerial. Aerial is all about the high five. Focus on that U-shaped bottom turn. And maybe look at getting a smaller board. Something that you can turn easier. Yeah, so Tomas mentions timing and placement, and then also completing your cutback. Those are both good. So timing and placement I already talked about. Completing the cutback I didn't. So really staying on that rail. These waves look kind of slow, so you can really stay on that rail, stay on your heels to complete the turn. That's good advice. Thanks, Tomas. All right, asking about where to watch the World Cup. Eric talks about auto rotators. There's some of my auto rotators in this video from Ginshu that I did years ago, 12 years ago, Vimeo says, with Brendan. Here's an auto rotator, but it's in the straps. A little bit more like a backside 360. Let me find one out of the straps. They are one of the purest wave moves. So here's another one in the straps. Normally you do them out of the straps. Alex Mussolini and I started doing them in the straps, which at the time was pretty radical. Alex, I think, was the first one to do them. And then I kind of copied, and I don't know how many other people did them. This is a really hard move because you have to be really connected with the wave in order to make it happen. The timing has to be perfect, and then you push back on the board to release the fins. There's the back, but then in the same instant, you have to push forward to get on the nose of the board and slide around, and the timing has to be right with when the wave is breaking. That's an auto rotator, and it's, yeah, a very difficult move. But I want to find one not in the straps. So I'm doing all of these in the straps. That was the cool way to do them at that time. And what's the difference between that and a backside 360 or a taka? So this is a taka, sort of just a cutback that goes all the way around in a 360. There's another one of those auto rotators in the straps. Here is a backside 360 coming out. So it's kind of different move, a little bit more like a shaka. I think at the end of the video, I do one out of the straps. I do two. Yeah, so out of the straps, push the tail, get on the nose, right with the energy of the wave. Go into another one, 2 in a row. Yeah. So that's an auto rotator. It's a cool move. It's a hard move. It's a very advanced move. Yeah. But yeah, cool. Eric, thank you for bringing that up. It's a cool move to talk about. All right, here's a video. I think we talked about this last time. This video from Jeff. I kind of remember this from last time, but let's play it anyway. We can talk about it a little bit again. So yeah, awesome. Charging. I love this, Jeff. Charging, charging, charging. So going into the lip. You could sheet out more, or at least not sheet in as much. Throws you down. And then instead of looking down the line, if you look up the line and really hang low from the boom, so when you're trying to stabilize in almost any situation in windsurfing, getting low, hanging low from the boom will stabilize you. So if you do that here, and if you look into the beach or up the line, it gets you away from this danger zone here. By standing upright and looking down the line, you start traveling down the line, going into almost another bottom turn, and then you get clobbered. Boom. By the whitewater. But charging, I love the commitment. I love going for it. So good job, Jeff. Remember to look to the beach. Good to look to the beach after cutbacks. All right, I'm going to refresh this. I think Caro posted some forwards, and I want to see them. I want to see them. And then I'm going to go to bed. All right, Caro. It's so cool. Caro's been on a long forward loop journey, and I'm excited to see these next steps of aerial rotation with speed. Boom, that's a forward. All right, let's see another one. So Caro learned with the goose screw method. She did the sort of Weimaru style. Oh, nice. For a long time. And now she's starting to do them in the air, which is awesome. Boom. All right, back to the beginning. All right, Carl, let me see what your question is. All right, here are some updates on your road to forward. Love the journey. Love seeing it. Thank you, Carl, for posting. Very inspiring. Had some good next steps in Cape Town. Yeah, it looks really good. Struggling to make them cleaner. Yeah, I think it's a lot of just putting in the reps, doing more and more and more of them. Taking off on unbroken waves also will be helpful, right? Rather than the whitewaters. Getting the legs pulled up will also be helpful. So really tucking in those legs. Having straight legs makes the rotation slower, a little bit more kind of staccato. So bringing, right, I mean, this is awesome though. I love seeing this. But tucking up the legs, doing it off unbroken waves, trying to stand a little bit more upright on the takeoff. Will be helpful. Getting the head a little bit more over the shoulder, looking back. But this is awesome, Carl. You're on the journey. So you're in the air, you're rotating. I love to see it. What's going on this one? Sometimes this happens. I don't know why this happens. I should figure out why. When I'm less tired, I'm gonna go through this and study it because that's kind of a common problem. But these are awesome, Carl. I think really getting in the reps is good. Taking off on unbroken waves is a good next step. Tucking up the legs. And then getting the head, if you can think about the head. But those first two things are gonna probably be good next steps. You're really charging it with speed. I really like to see it. But you see when you hit the whitewater, it really slows you down, like boom, stops you. And if you're taking off on an unbroken wave, that speed is going to carry a little bit. You get a little bit more height and will help with a smoother rotation as well, rather than jumping off of the whitewaters, which kind of stop you a bit. Boom. But awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good job. All right, everyone. I am exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. I'm going to go to bed and say good night from Japan. I will see you next week, Sunday. I will also be in Japan. We're in Japan for pretty much the whole month. Hey, Mateo, ITA 100. Welcome to the stream. We've been talking for the last 25 minutes or whatever it is, but I am exhausted. I'm in Japan for the PWA IWT Combined World Cup. And I'm tired and I'm going to go to bed. I will be here next Sunday. If you missed the live stream, don't worry. You can always watch them back on Facebook or on YouTube. And if you have a question that wasn't addressed, post it in the group. I'll get to it. I read everything that's posted. Oh, there's one other thing. Let's go back to this. I posted a question. I like these questions. I want to post one every week. And if you have questions as well that you think are interesting to ask the community, don't hesitate to post them. And so this was about community and how has windsurfing helped you connect with other people. Windsurfing is a very individual sport, but I think that that makes the community even more important because it's so individual. And I see a lot of friendships formed through windsurfing, which is interesting. But I was interested by the answers. Some people seem to agree kind of with my mindset, and doing events and tournaments and forming a community that way, or a tribe, wave sailing people in Brazil. Other people like Thomas and John and Tomas are saying that it's hurt their socialization and they're not really able to make friends because windsurfing is so demanding on the schedule and everything else, which I thought was interesting. So Giorgio says, I'm an introvert extrovert, and windsurfing is something that connects him with similarly minded people over the world. That's great. And sometimes he chooses to benefit from it and sometimes not. And York says it's common interest, passion, so many new friends. Yeah, cool. So if you have a comment about how windsurfing has helped connect you with other people, I'd love to hear it. Or disconnected you with other people. That's also interesting. All right. I'm signing off. Take care. Good night. Have a good week. I hope it's windy. I'll see you next week, Sunday.